Yes. Hello, folks. It's me, Ed Granger, here, talking to you, whoever you are, and I'm going to be answering an evaluation question. More specifically, in what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? So, yeah, going to do that. Going to be reading from a Word document I'd made, written previously, and stuff will pop up all over the place, which show examples and stuff. So that's all exciting. So without further ado, I shall now commence with reading what I've written. Our film follows the conventions of a comedy film, despite possibly being considered to be more conventional of a sketch than a short film. I would say that the film still works in a traditional narrative structure, though one that is intersected by lots of different sketches. These sketches are parodies of other well-established genres. Parody is a well-known aspect of the genre of comedy. The film follows a traditional narrative structure with a clear beginning, middle, and end that is also easy to follow. The film, however, starts in the middle of the action, and the film also requires the audience's previous knowledge of film pitching and the television industry, as well as the conventions of crime drama, romance, science fiction, Nordic noir, and sitcoms to find the film entertaining. The film uses many of the regular tropes of a comedy film, such as having a very fast-paced dialogue. This is regularly used to make things seem more funnier. And so that's what I'll do. The plotting music will play now, because it'll make stuff seem more awkward. And it's examples, so yeah, woo. Don't know why I said woo, but woo. I'll get back to this. Where was I? Oh yes. The actors in the film also act quite melodramatically and quite over the top, another stereotypical feature of a comedy film. Okay, now then I'll stop that music. Can't really click, but good a text. Oh well. I'm now going to move on to the next thing I wrote. So it's about the other examples of the genres I parodied in my film, which I was talking about earlier. If you were listening, you were, but I'm talking too much. I'll get back to reading. I used many conventions of a romantic program to clearly establish a parody of the genre I was going for. The dialogues that the characters say in the scene are all humorously meaningless and sexually underlined, something featured in most romantic television programs or films, such as Twilight, 50 Shades of Grey. Other conventions I also heavily exaggerated some of the well-known conventions, such as having two characters stare in each other's eyes with lustful expressions, and the use of slow porn music as background music to further increase the hilarity. And again, that will now be played, because it's something I do. Then I also used mainly mid-shots and close-ups in the scene to increase a more intimate feel to the scene. And in terms of the effects I used, I desaturated the colour out of the scene to make it in general seem paler. I then increased the red to make this the most noticeable feature of it. And that's what the effect looks like, and this effect will now end. It is ended. And now I'm going to talk about another genre. You lucky people. Yes. I used many different conventions of a sitcom to clearly establish a parody of the genre. The scene, in particular, is based on 90s sitcoms such as Full House, Family Matters, and The French Prince of Bel-Air. In fact, I even have a homage to Full House by using a similar font to its typeface in the opening title sequence of that bit. The opening title sequence, which introduces the main characters laughing and looking straight to the camera, is another well-known feature of the sitcom genre. I also had a laughter track after every line a character says, and this is the most famous event from the genre, and the laughter track will play now. Good, that's an example of a laughter track. If you didn't know what one already was, you probably did. I've lost my place, if you couldn't tell. Can't. The lines were set in an over-the-top way and were distinctly unfunny, another arguable feature of programs of its ilk. We used old-fashioned music that is widely associated with the genre, like this. And the clothing that we used was also of its genre. One character even wore a costume that looked like it came right out of The French Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Good. Now, the final genre I am going to talk to you about, which we parodied, are science fiction genres. More specifically, those low-rent ones, like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Lost in Space, and Doctor Who. The whole sequence could in fact be seen as a loving tribute, or even an intertextual reference to Doctor Who, as it shares many similarities to it. The main character is wearing a costume similar to Colin Baker's incarnation of Doctor Who. The dialogue he says in it is in a similar fashion to him, and is associated with a female assistant, which is in there. As Doctor Who is the most recognisable sci-fi programme, making such an obvious comparison to it was sensible, as it is generally considered to be the norm of the genre. Yeah, it is. In fitting with the genre's low budget quality, our small cutaway included a cheap sounding stereotypical science fiction music like this, and a scratchy VHS effect, which looked like this. And also, incidentally, I didn't mention it in that sheet, in the Word document, but we also, you know, because blue is a colour usually associated with sci-fi, so we put a blue filter over it, which is why the screen will now turn blue. See, it's blue. But yeah, okay. And we also used purposely rubbish special effects like this. Wasn't that rubbish? And now the last thing I should be talking to you about is the poster I made for my auxiliary text, which also clearly showed the film was a comedy, as it's large. Oh, hold on, I haven't brought the poster up yet, so look, there's the film, it should be there, it's on that, yep. Yes, but this clearly showed that the film was a comedy, as the largest person in the main image, me, has a comedic, gormless look on his face, which is funny, apparently. The two pull quotes from the film reviews are also humorous, with one explaining not the worst film ever, and the other not the best film ever, which upon reading this would instantly establish the film as a comedy. Cue laughter for that funny joke. I may cut that out. And then the background to the poster is also of a blue cloudy sky, which is conventional for comedy films, and it also shows that it heads in the clouds, due to possible readings from it. Yeah. Good. Good, that was that. I hope you enjoyed watching that. Enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Perhaps not. Perhaps I'm rambling. Goodbye.